Welcome to a special program where we engage leaders shaping the spiritual and administrative life of the church. Today, we are honored to speak with the Legal Affairs Director, who also serves as the Vocations Director for the Archdiocese of Lilongwe. Welcome, Father, to today's program.
Thank you.
Firstly, introduce yourself and the role you play in the Archdiocese of Lilongwe.
Thank you. I am Reverend Father John Enoch Kaliwamba, a priest of the Archdiocese of Lilongwe. I was ordained on the 15th of July 2017, right here at Maula Podium. So as of now, the Archbishop appointed me on two portfolios. The first one being the Director of Legal Affairs, Compliance and Social Justice. And also the second responsibility, I am also the Vocations Director of the Archdiocese of Lilongwe. Mainly these two responsibilities, the first one being the Director of Legal Affairs, Compliance and Social Justice, is so much concerned, in summary, with the church being a player in a society, the church being a regulated institution, and its compliance to the laws and the regulations of the state. And then on the other part, my role as the vocations director zero in to the fact that we need to ensure the continuity of the church as regards human personnel, be it priests. So it goes directly into identifying, recruiting, and making sure that there is proper formation for the seminarians, the future priests, and then accompanying them throughout their formation. That's what I can say from the onset.
Well, thank you. So you serve as both the Legal Affairs Director as
Yes.
well as the Vocations Director.
Yes.
So how do these roles complement each other?
Thank you. From the onset, one can see that these are roles, these are responsibilities, these are offices that don't speak to each other, that don't relate to each other. But for me, I say they complement to each other and they are connected because they are connected in the mission of Christ. Whatever we are doing is to make sure that we are advancing the mission of Christ. We are helping in the establishment of the kingdom of God. You should always remember that the mission of the Archdiocese of Lilongwe is and has always remained a Holy Spirit-filled family of God committed to integral development and evangelization for all. We cannot talk of these elements of evangelization where we don't have the personnel to preach the word of God, to dispense the sacraments and what have you. So this first responsibility as the vocations director looks into it that we have the necessary personnel that will help in the evangelization of the church. And also this second aspect, how do we evangelize then? We have to evangelize within the circles and the opium of what is supposed to be done as a church, which is regulated under the law. And we talk of development as the second arm within the mission of the church and its mandate. So we cannot talk of development where there is injustice. We cannot talk of development where there is lack of peace. So this office envisaged to have a society, a church which is orderly, so that the more that we are fulfilling our responsibility, we should not have something that will be disturbing the church. You can say, let us go and evangelize. But if you are on the other side of the law, you spend your time in the court, defending your case, defending your own interests. So want to have a church which is focused on development, want to have a church which is focused on evangelization for all, but removing all those intermediaries that can affect the mission and the mandate of the church. So they are rooted and they are connected as regards the mission.
Okay, so how do this balance? How do you balance legal responsibilities as well as guiding vocations?
Thank you very much. It's indeed a tall order, daunting task, because these are two polarities.
Yeah, totally different things.
Yeah, sure. These are two different worlds. So the legal realm and also the vocational realm. So balancing them, it's a question of planning. It's a question of prioritizing. It's a question of executing when the time for executing has come, a particular responsibility. So I will start with planning. So for me to fulfill all these responsibilities, it means I have to plan that what is it that I have to do today as a legal officer, and also what is it that I have to do today as the vocations director. And then after planning the same, I have to make sure that when time has come for me to do that, I should not postpone. I should not postpone it. I have to do what is required of me, like there. If I'll postpone, then definitely that will also interfere the other schedule. So I have to plan. After planning, I have to make sure that whatsoever I have planned is being executed when the time for execution has come. Over and above, it's also a question of prayer. Prayer, it's not something only relating to God, but prayer gives discipline. Even now, Catholic Church is orderly. The Mass itself is a liturgical activity which is orderly. You know that from Mass, there is an entrance song, there is the open prayer which is called the correct. It's time for the offertory and what have you. So prayer teaches us to be people who are orderly. So the more that you engage in prayer, the more that you borrow the life of prayer, the life of being a person of order and respecting order. So through order, we are also able to execute and then to fulfill these two polarities.
Okay, so what are the main legal issues the Archdiocese handles?
Okay, there are a lot of issues. People outside, they think that the church has reached the extent of having a lawyer.
That's something
what
else.
what is the church planning? So from the onset, let me say that the Catholic Church has two names, I should say. So the first name is the common name that we normally hear, the Archdiocese of Lilongwe.
Yes.
And people, you hear people saying we are going to the Archdiocese. So this is the very first common name which the church in Lilongwe is known with. But now the Archdiocese of Lilongwe is also a registered institution. So the Archdiocese of Lilongwe is called the registered trustees of the Archdiocese of Lilongwe. So legally, that's the name of the Archdiocese of Lilongwe.
Oh, wow.
So within the circles of the church, it is known as the Archdiocese of Lilongwe. But now, before the law, the Archdiocese is not known as the Archdiocese. It's known as the registered trustees of the Archdiocese of Lilongwe. Okay. So what does that mean to be a trustee? What does it mean to be registered? By the very fact that the Archdiocese is incorporated and is registered, it means it is regulated with a particular law. The law that regulates the church is the law that we have to make sure that we are obliging to. So first and foremost, the work of this office comes directly from the fact that the Archdiocese is a registered entity. It is incorporated. So being a registered entity, it means the Archdiocese of Lilongwe now is a person. Oh. The Archdiocese of Lilongwe legally is taken as a human being. It's taken as a legal person. So the Archdiocese, being a legal person, has the rights and obligations. So the rights of the Archdiocese of Lilongwe as a legal entity, as a legal person, spans from the right to own property. Okay. And then secondly, the right to enter into agreements, the right to enter into contracts with people and other like-minded institutions. And then the other right, the right to sue people who have contravened the rights, the interests of the Archdiocese of Lilongwe. For example, people have encroached the land of the Archdiocese of Lilongwe. As a registered institution, the Archdiocese of Lilongwe has the right to sue on its own. But at the same time, the Archdiocese of Lilongwe can also be sued by other institutions, by other legal entities, by other individuals as well. So the role of this office is coming directly from that aspect that the Archdiocese of Lilongwe is a legal person. So first and foremost is to secure the interests of the Archdiocese. So the Archdiocese of Lilongwe has its own interests. The interests are vested in the property. The Archdiocese of Lilongwe has its own property, and the Archdiocese would like to safeguard their property. So this office is into making sure that the property of the church is safeguarded first and foremost by protecting land encroachment issues, by making sure that we are also a church which is also compliant to the law. So this is the second role of this office, and also making sure that by at the same time being compliant, but we are also advancing and advocating for social justice, which is also the role of this office. We are into contracts with people. The Archdiocese of Lilongwe is one of the reputable and a reckoned employer. But it's not just a question of employing people. The people that you are employing, are you meeting the statutory obligations that you are supposed to meet? For example, the issues of the compliance to the minimum wage requirements, the pay as you earn, the pension, MRA remittances. So this office envisaged to make sure that we are also building a church which is compliant.
Okay. So how does canon law guide your work?
Thank you very much. The Code of Canon Law has 7 sections. The 1983 Code of Canon Law has 7 sections. The first one being the general norms, whereby we have the issues of definitions and order view. And now, out of the 7, there is one aspect which speaks directly to this office. So this one is it's the fifth part of the code of the canon law, which talks about the temporal goods of the church. So this office takes the canon law as a source of inspiration, as the source of its mandate, to say, okay, when we want to protect the welfare, the interests of the church, where are we getting the mandate and what should we do? When we want to protect the assets of the church, the property of the church, the temporal goods of the church, where do we take the mandate? What does the church say about its own property? What does the church say about property acquisition? What does the church say about the disposal of property? So this office rather, will be advising the church in line with what canon law says. So we get inspiration to act lawfully, legally, and also to make valid decisions that are also in line both with the church and also the society, by receiving inspiration from both the canon law and also the laws of the municipal law, the laws of the country.
Okay, so how do you ensure transparency and accountability?
Thank you very much. This office, as I've rightly said from the onset, that it is also an office that handles issues of compliance and the issues of social justice. So for us, we really have to ensure that there is transparency in the way the church is conducting its daily business. The church is also accountable to people, to offices that are also supposed to question and to check us. So this office has a number of mechanisms that ensure that the church is transparent, that ensure that the church is also accountable. First and foremost, the issues of compliance. We have a compliance manual. So this office is guided by a compliance manual. So that compliance manual expects each and every institution of the Archdiocese to submit a compliance report quarterly, and that compliance report will elucidate or will list down the rates of compliance in different issues. The rates of the levels of compliance normally determines that the church is transparent. The church does its affairs in a transparent manner, and is also compliant to the law. And also, as the issue of on the issues of accountability, it also it is also zeroing in to that very same office of that very same element of compliance that is also in this office. That this office is making sure that the officers, the different departments of the Archdiocese of Lilongwe, are speaking to each other, are respecting the organogram of the church, the hierarchy of the church, where they need to get their mandate and where they need to report their mandate. They should also be able to do the same. So this office is ensuring that there is a accountability. People are able to report. People are able to answer the questions where they are supposed to be answerable. Where they fail, we take them we take them into task and we make them accountable for that.
Okay, so what legal challenges is the church facing today?
There are numerous legal challenges that the church is facing today. The first one that I said is the land encroachment. I can say without fear of any contradiction that in each and every parish in the Archdiocese of Lilongwe, now we have how many parishes? We have
About 50.
50 parishes.
Yeah.
So in almost each and every parish, including these newly established parishes, there are land issues.
Oh.
The issues of encroachment, whereby people are claiming adverse possession, that we have overstayed in this land and this land belongs to us. But now the church, when you look at the Catholic Church, you should look at the Catholic Church not as an institution which is purely into evangelization only, but the mandate of the Catholic Church is broader. We are into the healing ministry. We are also into the teaching ministry and what have you.
Yeah.
So the land of the church is being pressured. People think that the church is accumulating a lot of land at their expense. So because of that aspect, people are encroaching the sacred territories of the land that is supposed to belong to the Archdiocese of Lilongwe. So that's the very first challenge that we are encountering in the Archdiocese of Lilongwe. The second challenge, these are employment issues, the labor-related matters. As I already said and indicated, that the Catholic Church is an employer to reckon with. We are employing people in our hospitals,
yes.
in our schools, in our social development institutions, the industries. We are employing people. So over and above, it comes a time whereby there is souring of relationship. And then the employees, the former employees, drag the church to court for unfair dismissal, claiming for unfair labor practice and what have you. So this office is so much preoccupied with such claims of unfair dismissal.
A very busy office.
Yes, it's busy. So why do we have to defend? We have to defend because the law is coming from the code of canon law, the temporal goods of the church. Because any adverse claim of unfair dismissal will come with its own monetary obligations, the judgment sums. So this church, this office is there to make sure that the church doesn't lose what is due to them, doesn't lose its finances because of cases that can be ably defended. So it doesn't mean that this office will be defending lies, no, but will be defending what is due to the church. And then the third issue that is also preoccupying this office quite much are the issues of safeguarding of minors and vulnerable adults. That the more that we engage with people in the society, the more that we have to be compliant to the issues of safeguarding. So there are challenges of safeguarding, but this office is into it to make sure that there is a lot of awareness, there is a lot of advocacy, there is a lot of lobbying, so that our institutions should be compliant on issues of safeguarding.
All right. So what are the current state of vocations in the Archdiocese?
So we have now shifted to the office of the vocations. Yeah, so the vocations in the Archdiocese of Lilongwe are quite promising. Maybe you heard that recently the major seminarians at St. Anthony Major Seminary received cassocks. There was a ceremony whereby they were given cassocks. So there were 60 seminarians coming from all across Malawi, Tanzania, the diocese of the Archdiocese of Mwanza, and also the diocese of Chibada. And out of the 60, the Archdiocese of Lilongwe had 12 seminarians who have received their CASOCs.
Wow.
So already that you can see that it's quite promising. There are numbers coming. We have 12 in the first year at Kajeberi. As if that is not enough, this year we also have a promising figure of those people who will be ordained to priesthood. So there are 7 deacons as we are talking of now. So measuring, for you to measure if at all we are trading quite well in terms of vocation, you have to look at the inception stage and the closure. So you can see that we at least we have a good number, those that are coming, and also we have a good number of those that are also yet to get ordained. So these are promising figures. But over and above, the Catholic Archdiocese of Lilongwe is a growing institution, and the needs of the Archdiocese of Lilongwe are also immense. Because of that, that doesn't mean that these numbers are satisfied. No,
We need more.
we need more. Yeah. In fact, these numbers will be consumed because the Catholic Church is into pastoral. That's the first realm, and it is also into the social development aspect, and it is also going seriously so into the investment portfolio. So all these 3 multifaceted dimensions are they are looking for personnel. Who knew it that we have a lawyer priest? So already that shows that we have new avenues that are speaking to the
And
church.
I was going to ask you that,
Yeah.
are you the first lawyer for the Archdiocese? Is it the first time this office has been here, or it's been here maybe since for a long time?
Oh, okay. This is a new establishment, so we have to start with this office. We have Lloyds and Associates as the legal practitioners of the Archdiocese of Lilongwe that have been with the Archdiocese of Lilongwe since time immemorial. So they have been assisting the Archdiocese of Lilongwe pro bono, free of charge, and we commend them for that fact. But now, this is the first of its kind, not only in the Archdiocese of Lilongwe, but in Malawi.
Oh, nice.
The church, the Archdiocese or a diocese, to make up a decision to say we are establishing a fully-fledged legal office. So it is a new establishment in the Archdiocese and also cutting across all the dioceses in Malawi. Precisely in the Archdiocese of Lilongwe, I'm the first trained lawyer, so civil lawyer. We have canonists, those who have specialized in canon law, but they cannot appear or litigate in a civil court. So I'm the first, and as of now, the only trained civil lawyer of the Archdiocese of Lilongwe.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So you might be congratulating me on something that is heavy, that will put a lot of load on me. But thanks a lot for the congratulations. Others are incidentals that will be handling as they are coming. So as I've lightly said, so that already shows and should speak to the church that we have new avenues. The church is growing in a totally different direction than that traditional conceptualization of the church. The church was thought to be an institution that is supposed to remain in a chapel or in a church only. But the church is also engaging the society.
Exactly.
The church is also engaging the society, and that needs new way of thinking, new personnel, new offices, and new establishments. That is why I'm saying we need a lot of priests. So those who are out there, the young ones, boys, you might be thinking that whenever we have open air masses and then seeing the procession of priests, normally you have a feeling that, oh, priests are so many.
So many.
And then you say, I will not become a priest because they're enough. No, we need you and we need more.
Okay.
Thank you.
So how does the Archdiocese support the seminarians?
Okay, the Archdiocese of Lilongwe is supporting seminarians in a number of ways. The first way is making sure that the seminarians are recruited. But what makes them to be recruited? They have to know what it means to be called, what it means to become a priest.
You can't just wake up today and decide that, no, I think I want to become a priest.
Yes, you can't just wake up today and say, to the seminary I have to go. This is my transport. I'm going to Kajabere, I'm going to Kasina Formation Center, I'm going to Rumpi Formation Center. No. So the Catholic Church is accompanying, is supporting this by accompaniment, first and foremost. So it is accompanying those who are showing the interest of wanting to become priests by telling them what it means to be called, by telling them how to respond to that very same calling. And after accompanying them, the Archdiocese of Lilongwe is also supporting seminarians by making sure that it is mobilizing resources for their formation. You know, formation is expensive as of today.
Yeah.
The restitution fee, the transport expenses, food, accommodation, lodging expenses, and what have you. So all these expenses are consolidated by the Archdiocese of Lilongwe through fundraising drives, different fundraising initiatives and drives initiated by the Archdiocese of Lilongwe. So the Archdiocese of Lilongwe supports them by making sure that there are resources that will enable their formation. We don't want to have a scenario whereby the seminarians have been told that you will not learn because your diocese has not footed the bills. No. So, and you have never heard about that.
Yeah.
That the seminarians from the Archdiocese of Lilongwe have been chased because of non-remittance.
Yeah.
So we are supporting the seminarians through that. We are also supporting seminarians by giving them an avenue of having a foretaste of the work that they will be doing, of the apostolate that they will be doing in future, by making sure that we are assigning them to parishes and institutions where already they don't go there first and foremost for assessment purposes. No. But they go there for them to have a taste, to learn what they will be doing in the future.
Okay.
So we are supporting them by giving them an avenue where they will be practicing what they are learning in class, putting it into practice, so that they should indeed be better priests in future. And then the Archdiocese of Lilongwe is also supporting seminarians by also praying for them. Every day in our parishes, we pray for seminarians. Every day, whenever there are gatherings, whenever the church is gathering, we organize these events whereby we call them Vocations Day, where we pray for vocations, where we mobilize resources for vocations. So the Archdiocese of Lilongwe is supporting them by praying for them. Otherwise, without prayer, we cannot have grace.
Exactly.
Yeah, sure.
So maybe what is your vision for vocations in the Archdiocese as we are getting closer to the end?
Maybe it should not be so much of my vision, but it has to be the vision of the Archdiocese of Lilongwe. Yeah, I'm only standing tall because of stepping on the shoulders of the Archdiocese of Lilongwe, and principally the Archbishop himself and the auxiliary bishop. So the vision of the Archdiocese of Lilongwe is to have a church which is self-propagating. This is the vision of the Archdiocese of Lilongwe. What does having a church which is self-propagating entail? Go into our parishes. You find that there are other parishes whereby the parish is vast. Be it Salima Parish. Salima Parish has outstations spanning to the extent of having 58 outstations.
That's a lot.
And then there is one priest. How can a single priest administer, dispense the sacrament to 58 outstations? Already that should tell you, should resonate, should ring a bell that priests are not enough. So the Archdiocese of Lilongwe envisions of having a church which has got enough, and I will not say enough priests, but because priests will never be enough, but we have priests who are able to respond to the needs, to the current needs of the church. So this is the vision that I'm riding upon. And also the vision of the Archdiocese of Lilongwe is to keep on creating and realizing a church which has a missionary face. What does having a missionary face entail? Having a church which is also receptive to different charisms, different congregations, to work with the church. So viewing the Archdiocese of Lilongwe, you should also view it as a tree which has different leaves of different colors. So the Archdiocese of Lilongwe, precisely this office, is praying that the missionary nature, the missionary face of the Archdiocese of Lilongwe should be promoted. That is why this office is so much encouraging the interface between congregations through the vocations team, so that we should realize how the church can be beautiful with our different charisms.
Okay.
And also, the missionary aspect does not only entail the Archdiocese of Lilongwe being a church which is receptive, but it should also be a church which is also giving out its own priests to other mission territories. So we are also helping our seminarians to start having a broadened understanding of diocesan priesthood. That diocesan priesthood is not just that type of a priest who serve in his own jurisdiction or locality, but they have to grow with a missionary approach, that there is a need somewhere and we can also go and cover that need. So this is the vision of the church. That is why I'm saying we need a lot of priests, not only for the Archdiocese of Lilongwe, but also for the church globally. So in short, I can say the Archdiocese envisions at having pastoral personnel, pastoral agents that will respond to the needs of the local church and also responding to the needs of the universal church. Also at the same time being receptive to different charisms and congregations.
Okay, Father, what keeps you motivated?
Thank you very much. What keeps me motivated? I'm motivated, and I'll keep on getting motivated. First and foremost, I always get motivated by the apostles, be it Saint Peter, be it Saint Paul. I always get motivated by the early missionaries, and over and above, I always also get motivated by Jesus Christ Himself, which I'm here to unpack. The motivation of the apostles. Think of Saint Paul. Saint Paul worked quite hard for the church, for the establishment of the church. When you think of Saint Paul, think of all the missionary journeys that Saint Paul undertook. Think of all the evangelization that Paul did. And also, when you think of Saint Peter, you should also think of Peter as an apostle, as a missionary, as an evangelist. So whenever I've encountered a scenario whereby I think that what I have on my head is too much, I always get motivated by the apostles, by Saint Peter, by Saint Paul. That when I'm thinking now that what I'm having is too much, what about Saint Peter? Was that not enough? That keeps on motivating me and pushing me. Now coming to the early missionaries. The early missionaries, when you think of the early missionaries, when you think of Malawi as of today, we're having a lot of challenges. The first challenge being financial challenges. So Malawi is poor, but how was Malawi in 1901? How was Malawi in 1800, in the 1800s? The levels of poverty of Malawi then were extremely on the higher side. So because of that aspect, the challenges that I face in my priesthood, be it the financial challenges, be it the cultural challenges, be it due to cultural barrier and what have you, be it the misunderstandings that normally we do encounter because we're into a heterogeneous society. I always say, if I'm meeting these challenges today, what about those early missionaries who left their home countries, without knowing any language, and they landed in Malawi, they landed in Lilongwe without knowing how to communicate, but they sailed through. So I always get motivated by the early missionaries.
They
That
survived.
if they manage to survive, as you have rightly put it, I have also should also drive towards the very same survival. And also Jesus Christ, as I've already said, that he's the master of our vocation, he's the master of our calling. I also get motivated by Jesus Christ, the sacrificial aspect, that Jesus Christ sacrificed his own life, but now for the sake of the kingdom of God. So I always get motivated whenever I've encountered challenges to say, but maybe Jesus Christ is only telling me that you are not sacrificing a lot. This is the form of sacrifice that you have to take. So minus the challenges, minus the busy schedule, in short, I can say I always get motivated by Jesus Christ, by the early missionaries, and by the apostles.
Right. Well, maybe lastly, do you have any last words before we finish our program?
Yes. My words going to the youth. We are here today, but we will not be there tomorrow. When I was getting ordained, I was enjoying people calling me that I'm a young priest. But I don't think that I'm still a young priest. With ages, the energies, the levels of enthusiasm, the levels of saving are also narrowing and also going down. So that doesn't mean that we don't enjoy priesthood. Priesthood is the best ever decision that I always say that I've ever made in my life. Priesthood is good. Priesthood is enjoyable. But still more, we need the church to continue. So my last words are going to the youth. Whenever you see priests, always ask yourself, who will replace them? And maybe you are the next person who are supposed to replace us. So that's what I will say to the youth as the vocations director. And now coming to the office as the director of legal compliance and social justice, I will zero in to the issues of social justice. President John F. Kennedy has a beautiful quote that I've always said that we have misused. That a very good citizen will not ask what his country will do for him, but what he will do for his own country. This is the most quoted quotation of John F. Kennedy. But now the implementing aspect has become a challenge to many of us. So as of now, we always complain in the country of issues of corruption. That there is an escalation of corruption in Malawi, of issues of social injustice. But when we are talking of these issues of social injustice, there is a perpetrator out there. Behind any corruption, there are people who are perpetrating that corruption.
Yes.
And unfortunately, these people are also belonging to a church. Every Sunday, every Friday, every Saturday, they go and congregate somewhere. So my appeal is, it's not just a question of thinking that what is it that our country can do for us, but what is it that we can do to our country? What is it that we can do to each other in order to downscale the issues of corruption, in order to downscale the issues of the social injustice issues in the country? And don't look at yourself that you are that person who cannot bring change in the society. You can bring change. The little that you do in your circles, what will bring change? So let me finish by the words of Saint Mother Teresa of Calcutta. It's not how much you do, but how much love you put into the doing that counts. So for us, as the society, as citizens of the country, it's not how much we will do in terms of scaling down the issues of corruption and social injustice, but how much love we put into the actions that we are doing, but how much effort we are putting. The little effort will matter. The little effort will bring that social change. Social justice can begin with you social justice can also begin with me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Father, for sharing your insights and reflections.
Thank you.
To our listeners and our viewers, that was Father John Kaliwamba, the Legal Affairs Director, as well as the Vocations Director for the Archdiocese of Lilongwe. Until next time, you have been with me, Monica Chinyamalipia. Thanks for watching as well as listening.